Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Well, as you've seen, they caught him. They got him. They finally got the guy. After over 2.5 years, the man responsible for the attempted January 6th coup was taken into federal custody in Washington, D.C. And of course, we've known all along just who the prime suspect was, who we should be on the lookout for. He did it in front of everybody. But today he was nabbed, so to speak. He was arrested and booked. No mugshot was taken of the ex-president, but his fingerprints were taken. There are no cameras allowed in federal court, but we have these sketches where Donald J. Trump, the 44th president of the United States, was arraigned, 45th president of the United States, was arraigned on 4 felony counts for his attempts to steal the election. The ex-president pleaded not guilty. There were no literal handcuffs, but he surrendered and he was arrested. He submitted to federal custody in the federal courthouse. Special counsel Jack Smith sat in the front row during the arraignment. Defendant Trump was sworn in. We did not hear a lot from him, but when asked by the magistrate judge, he stated his full name, quote, Donald J. Trump John. When asked his age, he said, quote, 77, 77. And he entered his plea of not guilty on all charges for his attempts to subvert American democracy and to end the constitutional republic as we know it. In an extraordinary and unexpected turn, the magistrate judge warned the defendant, John Trump, to not try to influence any jurors. She warned the defendant not to commit any crimes while he is out on release, that he would be held by the federal government should he do so. He was then released on the condition that he not communicate any facts of the case with witnesses unless in the presence of counsel. The judge warned the ex-president would be detained if he violated the conditions of his release. And now Trump faces a total of 78 felony counts in his 3 upcoming criminal trials. But none of those 78 counts are like these 4. This is the big one. The biggest of all time. And, I want to take a step back for just a moment and make note of how we got here. Because one of the craziest things about January 6th, and if you take yourself back to that day and you think about it in real time, it was truly wild, was that when it was all over, this surreal, upsetting scene playing out in real time on live television, everyone just went home. Do you remember that? Like, no one got arrested on the spot. Despite the fact that rioters nearly destroyed the nation's capital, they smashed windows, they ransacked congressional offices, defecated inside them, including the offices of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, which they ransacked. They overtook the floor of the Senate. They temporarily blocked the certification of votes. They brutally attacked police officers with flagpoles and bats and crushes and bear spray, chunks of wood. Blood was spilled. They chanted, "Hang Mike Pence," as they hunted him down in the halls of Congress. And then after all of that, after we watched it all, no one got arrested. We saw them commit the crimes. We saw the crimes committed in real time, the violence unfolding before our eyes. We watched as the violent rioters just went home. Police just walked them out. And their leader, the man who sent them there, the man they stormed the Capitol for, the man who told them to go down to the Capitol, he had this final message for them.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel, but go home.
I love you. You did everything right. Totally justified. Go home. Really? No handcuffs? No one's going to get arrested after that? After an attempted coup with violence and bloodshed? Everyone just go home? Good night? America's not the only country on earth. Sometimes we forget that here. And when this happens in other countries, plays out differently. Let's take a comparison. Brazil, earlier this year. Brazil's president, Jair Bolsonaro, and his followers tried to hold on to power following an election defeat. Brazil had their own January 6th, their own attempted coup. It happened on January 8th of this year with Bolsonaro supporters storming the Capitol in Brasilia, claiming there was fraud and the election was stolen. In fact, their coup seemed almost explicitly modeled on ours, like a weird kind of American export. There was one enormous difference. At the end of that coup, when it failed, all of those rioters got marched out by security forces in zip ties on the very same day. Hundreds arrested on the spot. Get on the bus, boys. Right there. Typically, when you see coup attempts happen in other countries and they don't work, it looks more like that. It's not a go home and chill kind of situation. Here in the U.S., a different story. And over the last 2.5 years, the Department of Justice, to their credit, launched the largest investigation in its history to try to find the January 6 rioters. They worked from the bottom up. Over 1,000 people have been charged. Nearly 600 have pleaded guilty. Nearly 100 have been found guilty at trial. And investigation continues to this day. Just yesterday, this guy on your screen, a member of the violent January 6 mob, was finally arrested. Why does he look like that? Well, he is a St. Louis Cardinals superfan known as Rally Runner. Yesterday, Rally Runner finally got hauled in. Today, ahead of the attempted coup, the guy the mob stormed the Capitol for, the guy who told them that he loved them, well, he finally got his day in court. He pleaded not guilty to the sprawling conspiracy to hold on to power that prosecutors lay out in incredible detail. The arraignment today was described by people inside the room as intense, packed to capacity. Several other federal judges, in fact, and the chief judge of the D.C. federal court seated in the back row, taking it all in. The parties decided on the next hearing date. The magistrate judge gave 3 options after conferring with the trial judge, Judge Chutkan. Jack Smith's team, oh yes, they picked the earliest date. And guess what Trump's team did? They requested the latest date. And they got it. They ultimately agreed. August 28th at 10 a.m., and the judge will set a trial date then. Get ready.